All right, Fight Chronicles number 2, Tim, and we got a pretty good card here.
Yes, sir. Got two good cards this whole month, so this is a awesome month for fights.
Yeah, I'm excited for Poirier Gaethje. I think the odds are pretty much a pick 'em right now, which makes me want to bet the shit out of Poirier.
Yeah, I'm on the Gaethje train, but we'll get to that one.
Yeah. All right, so we got 14 fights. We can swipe through the first few pretty quick here. And then we got some strong opinions once we get to number 9 to 14, which those will be fun to talk about. A lot of late replacements on this card with Jack Della losing his opponent and then Bo losing his opponent. Kind of sucks that they threw in those prospects that no one knows.
Well, I know for Bo Nickel, from what Chael Sonnen was saying, they reached out to three of the 185ers and they all turned it down.
I would
So
too.
not too many people are trying to fight Bo. So this new kid that they brought in, obviously he wants to make a name for himself. So we'll see what happens when we get to that fight.
Yeah. All right. First one we got here: Kamala Kirk versus Esteban Ribovics.
Ribovic.
Ribovics. I think so. Now the line is a lot different. Kirk is like minus 130 or something now. I would have bet him at plus like 170, 180 when it was that, but now I'm not real interested in this at all. I probably would bet the other side to be honest.
Yeah, I like Ribovic here. He lost a decision his last fight. Um, but he's just knocking people out. I think this is a get back fight for him. I think he'll turn it around, and I'm looking for him to get a finish here. So I'm leaning Ribovics on this one.
I think I am too. I liked um, his wins before. Like I liked on the Contender Series. I watched that and I thought that was a pretty good fight. And then Kamala Kirk doesn't have very many good wins. I mean, he beat Makwan Americani, who's now out. He's fucking gone because he has half a round of cardio. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm all over Ribovics on this one.
I like it. I like it. We got Shannon Ross, the Turkish Delight, dude. That's kind of a sick name. I'm not gonna lie. The Turkish Delight, and we got Jesus
Jesus
Aguilar.
Aguilar. Yeah, I'm all over on this one too. I'm all over Aguilar. Um, I just I think this is another get right fight.
Yeah,
They're trying to set these fights up where if he's taking on a guy that's coming off for two losses and he's dropped three of his last five, um, that's a clear sign to me that they're trying to get Aguilar back on the right track, and this might be the end of the road for Shannon Ross.
I mean, look at Ross too. He's 34 years old. As soon as he gets to the Contender Series, he loses both fights. He loses his Contender Series and then the UFC. So right when he took that step up, he just couldn't hang. We got
Yeah,
we got Aguilar over here who won his Contender Series fight and then lost to a really, really fucking good Tatsuru Taira, which we'll talk about later.
that kid's a stud. He's on this card too.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud. All right, yeah, I'm going with Aguilar as well with you. This is a good fight. This will be fun. We got Cameron Simon, who's a minus 500 favorite at 22 years old, versus Terrence Mitchell, who's 30, almost 34 years old, 15-2. He comes from
Yeah,
Alaska.
this one this one might surprise you. I like to sprinkle a little money here on Terrence Mitchell.
Did you look at his
Um,
sub prop?
I haven't looked at the sub prop yet, but I think his last two fights for Cameron, he's got a point taken away in both fights. He's got in trouble in both fights.
Yep.
He's going against a guy that's experienced. He's 15-2. He's not a bum, and we can see where the guys that have experience and they've been there before. I think I think he could pull out a decision. I don't think he's going to sub him, but I think we can get a decision out of Terrence Mitchell.
I
It's
mean,
worth a shot. You put a little on it, especially at the straight up odds. Might as well.
yeah, you
I
can
might
get.
even sprinkle a point to be taken in this fight.
That's not a bad bet, especially with Simon clearly not knowing the rules of UFC. Um,
Yeah.
I like Mitchell by sub here, just because it's a big number, and if we go to his. Oh, does it show his fights? Yeah, I mean, 8 of his wins are subs. Um, a lot of them coming in the first round, and you can see. I mean, he's got six KOs in the first round. Decisions, he's only lost decision. He has one disqualification win, so maybe dude, that might be it. Maybe he'll get a second one here, but I think him by sub at plus 1200 is pretty wide considering that's might be one of his only ways to win because if this stays on the feet, Simon's pretty technical on the feet. But I think Mitchell could sync something up. He's long too. He's real long for
I know he's
the
long,
division.
but here's he makes mistakes, and if even though he's long, if he gets him on the ground like you're saying for a sub, you know, being that long, give up an arm, give up a leg, anything like that, give up his neck. I mean, look at the kid. The kid's got a long neck as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's gonna get in trouble. I think he's gonna get in trouble.
I'm going the plus 1200 sub. I'll have like a sprinkle on it, something slight,
Yeah.
nothing crazy. All right, Vitor Petrino versus Marcin Prachnio. Petrino, I'm gonna check the updated line on this. I want to see if it changed at all. Petrino minus 230, Prachnio plus 195. I was actually looking to bet Prachnio when this thing was plus 240 or plus 230. Like last week because I thought it was wide and I think Petrino is a little bit overpriced here because he just fought that Pleasure Man guy
Yeah.
and almost got fucked up like 8 times. He had there were rear naked chokes in on him. Petrino was stumbled, but Petrino was doing it back to him. So that was the deal. And that Pleasure Man guy is not very good. Like he's just really not that good.
Yeah.
And to see him against someone who is as inexperienced as the Pleasure Man, getting almost his ass whooped, Prachnio's experienced. I mean, he just beat William Knight. Terrible fight. He lost to Philippe Lins, which I hate, but he beat Ike Villanueva, who's not a good fighter. He beat Khalil Roundtree, which is a good win. So if Petrino is a fraud, then I think Prachnio is going to fraud check him here. I'm not going to bet it, though, now. I would have bet it back when it was closer to plus 250. It was plus 230, I think, was the highest I saw it. I would have bet it then, but now I'll just watch and see. And if Petrino somehow gets through this, I think we might get a good lineup and a good price on him in the future against someone who's even better.
Yeah. This one, I'm not touching. It really doesn't even, to be honest with you, it doesn't. This fight doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
Um, if I was to bet, I'd go with the favorite. I'd go with Petrino. Um, that's pretty much all I got on this one. Like I said, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
There's
But this
not
next
really.
one,
Yeah, this next one is good. We got Tatsuro Taira, the prospect we were talking about earlier, which, by the way, he looks like he is like 16 in that photo. That's not what he looks
I
like
know,
anymore.
I
Versus
know.
Edgar Charez, the pit bull. They're kind of setting up Mexican fighters here. They're setting up a few to win, but this one I don't think he's got much of a chance. I'm moving to the odds here. I'm trying to get into DraftKings. Yeah, so he's plus
Yeah,
700 right now. And Tyra is minus 1,000, and I don't really think either of those are bettable because I don't really want to toss money into a burning fire on Shirez, and I think Tyra is the goods for at least a few more fights until he gets a top 15 opponent.
yeah. I would look at Tyra on the sub here. I would go double chance. I would go sub or decision.
Tyra by sub is minus 225.
Then I'm not touching it. So
Yeah, no fucking way for me. I mean, that's probably what happens, but at minus 225, I'm not taking a
now
prop
you
like
might be able
that.
to put him in a parlay with a sub and then a straight up win on one of the dogs later on.
Get better
But
odds,
at,
yeah.
at that price, it's not. It's better just to cheer for him and see what he does.
Yeah, and hope we either find out he's a fraud and then we get to fade him later, or one of those where he's just the goods and we ride him.
Yeah.
Which we've got one of those later that we'll talk about. I've been riding one of these main card fighters for a while. All right, Jimmy Crute, Alonzo Menafield. I think the odds have changed here as well. Crute is minus 140. Menafield is plus 120. And they fought in their last fight, and Jimmy Crute was pretty much handling him, and then Alonzo Menafield almost caught a murder charge in the third round. Like, we're talking legitimately almost killed Jimmy Crute. I thought Jimmy Crute might pass away. It was fucking awful. Um,
Yeah. Well, I think Crute gets him by KO here. I think that he was on the right track. Obviously, it didn't end well. The decision was probably a blessing, but I think Crute can get him out of there.
I
I
do as
think
well.
they I think they went back. They rewatched what they need to work on. Cardio, um, being a little bit safer. I think he's gonna knock him out. I think this is a big fight for Crute. Otherwise, if he doesn't win this, I think he could be done.
Do you remember
But
when
at the
Crute
same time,
was?
if you look at Jimmy Crute, those two drops that he had is to Anthony Smith, who I think is a monster, and John Mahal Hill, who
Yep.
is now the champ. So you can't fault the guy. I mean,
Nah.
and the way he lost to Anthony Smith with that nerve kick, where he got hit in the calf and he kept on stumbling and he couldn't walk.
He was beating Anthony Smith until that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a big Anthony Smith guy. I think he's a great person, but in that fight, to me that was a pick 'em. But
Yeah.
at the same time, Anthony Smith is also, I think, a complete fighter. I think he's good on the feet. I think he's good on the ground. Obviously now he's dropping some fights, but at that time, Anthony Smith was doing really, really well. So I'm not holding anything against Jimmy Crute. I think this is a get right fight. I think he goes in there, handles business, and I would even say under 2.5 because we know he doesn't want to go to that final round.
I 100% agree. I think he takes it under 2.5, exactly like you said. There was a time where Jimmy Crute was the goods. There was a time where Jimmy Crute had just submitted Paul Craig, which looking back, that's a fantastic win. Sam Alvey, I mean, not a good win, but he got him out of there round one. And then he got, submitted by Misha Serkinov, which I don't think you can fault a guy for getting submitted by Misha Serkinov. Then he goes on to beat Michael O. That's a good win. Michael
Yeah.
O is solid. Modestus Bukauskas, not a great fighter, but he's an average UFC fighter. So um, he was the goods back then, and then he goes on to getting leg kicked by Anthony Smith and not being able to continue, and then Jamal Hill. I mean, the
I mean,
champ.
that's he got clipped.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
he's
and we saw after that fight when he came out for when they fought the first time here, you know, he was setting the pace in that first round. So he didn't come out guns blazing and get clipped like when he did when he fought Hill. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's good.
And he's 27. He's getting better. Alonzo Menafield is almost 36. He's not getting much better. He's probably getting worse. I think Jimmy Crute's going to get him out of there. I'd probably say he's going to sub him if I had to make a bet. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him just pound him out on the ground, like get him down, get Menafield a little bit tired, and then just land a few bombs right on his dome. Um, take back his his near death experience that he had in that third round. All right. I'm gonna be quick on this one. This is Yasmin, and I'm not gonna say that last name because I'm gonna butcher it. The Mexican fighter, which is another Mexico fighter on this card versus Denise Gomez. Um, Undefeated is Yasmin. Denise is 7-2. I think this is just one of those women's MMA fights where you got to take the dog who's +3 whatever. Let me pull up DraftKings just to make sure. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
plus 300, and I think I would have to take that. I'm not gonna bet it because I don't like betting women's MMA all that much unless I know the fighters really well, and I don't know these fighters very well. But sometimes the dogs just cash here, and that's what I would probably put my money on if I had to. And the pick will be Denise Gomez, I guess.
yeah, yeah. This one, I'm just looking at Denise Gomes' record. Uh, doesn't do nothing. Doesn't do nothing for me. Um, yeah, this I'd just stay away. If
Yeah,
I would go with Yasmin though, if I was forced to. Um, that's that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing that stands out to me for either one of these girls other than Yasmin's record to
yeah,
make me feel confident in going with her.
yeah. And at that point, like I don't know if she trains with any of the other Mexican fighters on the card, but they could get like a roll going if they really wanted to. I mean, starting with Aguilar, if he wants to, get it done, he gets it done there, and they all know each other, because they're all on this big card for Mexico together. Who knows? Maybe they get stuff rolling. Same could be said for the Australians. I mean, Shannon Ross gets it done early, and then we see Jimmy Crute get
Yeah,
it done early. Then things could get rolling for the Australians and New Zealanders as well.
yeah, that's on the watch. That's how it was with the when they were in Canada.
That
Remember all
was
the
big
Canadian
time.
fighters? They went what 6-0.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't expect to see that. All right, big replacement here from the muscle hamster. And before I get into it, the hamster does train with Chris Curtis and White Trash Strickland. So he's got decent training partners. He is a muscle hamster as well. The guy is 5'7" and an absolute ball of muscle. He like threw someone through the cage in one of his last fights. He's undefeated. If he's of UFC caliber, I think he makes this closer than the odds suggest. But I have no idea if he's of UFC caliber because I haven't seen him fight anyone from UFC. And so I would probably pick Jack Della if I had to, but I was gonna hammer the fuck out of Sean Brady against Jack Della because I don't think Jack Della is a top 10 welterweight in the UFC. So I was gonna hammer Sean Brady. I thought he was gonna take him down and absolutely expose him on the ground, but I just don't have any confidence. And I watched a few fights of Harrell's. The guy looks strong. I just don't know if he's got what it takes. I'm gonna need to. I would have liked to have seen him against someone in the outskirts of the 170 division before this fight to at least have a UFC caliber opponent. But Jack Della's got the broken nose. I feel like that just might power him through, dude. He's got the power, and he's also on a good streak here. So I'll take Jack Della, but I will not touch this price tag with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I mean, kid's 7-0, 24 years old, short notice fight. He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So once again, I would just sprinkle a little bit on him on the money line. He's got nothing. He's got nothing to lose. He's undefeated. Why not?
He's got some
Uh,
subs on his record too, and I think that's the biggest hole in Jack Della's game. He almost got subbed by Razman Ameev in his last fight. Like it was real
so what is he?
close.
He has four KOs, TKOs, right, and 3 subs. So the
Yeah.
kid finishes his fights. Every fight he's had, he's got to finish.
Yep.
What is the reason to not go with him?
I don't know. There is none. There's no reason to not have a little sprinkle on Harrell. Let's see what inside the distance is. Just Harrell by finish. Harrell to win by inside the distance is plus 900. I mean, that's not terrible. It could be worse. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would say Harrell would be the betting side here for sure because I don't think you're getting value on Jack Della over -1,000. I think he's fraudulent in his ranking right now. I don't think Harrell's the guy to beat him, um, but he might not look -1,000 against Harrell because I just remember that Amib fight where he was like 3 seconds. He had his literal hand like hovering, ready to tap in
Yeah.
that Darce choke. That's what I would have to say about that one. Oh, I better sit up. I better sit up. We got the best fight on the card, the main event, the inaugural baddest motherfucker on the planet, Robbie Ruthless Lawler, Ruthless Robbie Lawler. He's coming back and he's taking Nico Price's head and he's taking Nico Price's ACLs. And if you saw him in the embedded videos, he's wearing a 3-button polo. That just shows, dude, Robbie's here to fucking play. Robbie's here to play. And here's the other thing. Nico Price has like 19 kids. He literally has like Alex Oliveira level of kids. He doesn't want to be fighting anymore. He just got knocked out by Philip Rowe. And who's Philip Rowe? I don't know either. Exactly. Philip Rowe. Who the fuck is that? Didn't Neil Magny just like sit on him? Like sit on him like an older brother for 5 rounds? He wouldn't do that to Robbie. Philip Rowe would not knock out Robbie. Robbie's taking Philip Rowe's soul. And he's taking it to another dimension. And then he's disposing of it in that dimension. And so what's Robbie going to do here? You know, I'm riding with Robbie one last time. I love a little ruthless Robbie Lawler. And plus, I got it at plus 225 last week. And I think he's going to knock him out. I really do. I think he's just the better technical striker. And Robbie's chin is made of glass, so beware. But Nico Price's chin is also not very strong anymore. He just got knocked out by, like I said, Philip Rowe, who's got about as much power as my left leg kick. And I've never thrown a left leg kick in my entire life.
Yeah. This one, I would have liked to seen this fight maybe 10 years ago.
Me too.
Maybe 10 years ago.
Robbie kills him. Robbie fucking kills him.
But now, I mean, I don't know. I think both these guys have to be retiring after this, right?
I would think so. Nico might have like another, maybe like 2 fights in him, but he doesn't have much left. Like he looked like a grandpa at a barbecue in that last fight. Like he was wearing knee pads. He had like bow legs and could barely move. He couldn't pick up his feet.
Unfortunately, I thought Nico was older. He's only 33 years old.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Nico by decision. I think Robbie's tough as hell. I think Robbie's just gonna gas. I think Nico can hold on a little bit longer, and I think that's what it's gonna be. I mean, he went the distance before his loss to Rowe with Cowboy Oliveira.
Yeah. And Michelle Pereira.
Yeah, I mean, and then he also went the full distance with Cowboy, which he ended up winning that fight, but then it got turned to a no contest, I believe.
Marijuana or something, I think.
Yeah. So it's Robbie's retirement fight. How much damage is he willing to take? You know, when you know it's going to be your last fight, what kind of mindset is he in?
Killer.
I think
that's what mindset.
I don't know if they did him dirty by putting him on the prelims, but to have him featured, it's going to be on ESPN, so everybody could see him. I mean, I understand that. I guess that's good, but at the same time, Robbie's taking so much damage. I don't know. I don't think it works out well for him, but I would definitely go Nico Price. Take him to the distance. I don't think Nico's gonna knock him out.
I think Robbie's gonna stop Nico probably in the second. If I had to give my exact opinion, I think it's gonna be.
You think he's got that? You think he's got the energy? Look, I mean, when he fought Nick Diaz, he quit. Diaz quit.
He did quit. He did quit. He was, I mean, and then Robbie was like beating Barberena, and then to get knocked out like that, like your chin's got to be pretty gone to get clean knocked out by Barberena like that.
Well, he had no energy. He
Yeah.
was he was gassed. He unloaded, and then that was it.
Here's what I would say. I would say if I were a Vegas line maker, I would have Nico Price minus 150 here. But when I got plus 225 on Robbie, like I had to take it. It was just too good. It was too good, and I feel like Nico is almost more shot than Robbie Lawler. After I saw that last fight, maybe he comes out completely different here. Maybe he comes out in that last fight he just wasn't training well for. Maybe he had a little nagging injury in that last fight. But he just looked bad.
Okay, so here's my thing. I know you like Robbie, right? He's 41 years old, right?
Yeah.
He's fighting Nico Price, 33 years old. His previous win was against Nick Diaz, who hadn't fought in how many years? And Nick Diaz quit. It was harder than he thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it anymore. Didn't train. I don't even think he trained well enough for it. That was where we had to wait. It kept moving up, moving up, moving up. So I don't know what the situation with that is, but that was a disaster. You're talking about the last time Robbie Lawler won anything was in 2017. So we know
That
at
is true.
least we know at least Nico Price has the win in there against both Cowboys, Cowboy Cerrone and Cowboy Oliveira.
They're
To
legitimate
me,
wins.
that's huh?
They're legitimate wins too. Like they're not quitting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it working out for Robbie. Robbie should have, you're not going out on a win at 41. Not to say that you can't. The likely of it happening, unless you're fighting a complete can, I don't see it happening. I think it's not going to be good. But he's a hell of an athlete, had a hell of a career. Hall of Famer, no doubt. But I don't see this. I don't see this working out for him.
Oh, dude, I'm ready to prove all the haters wrong. The haters are named Tim, and they're about to be proved wrong by a ruthless Big Robbie.
I mean, not for nothing. I know we're only on episode 2 here, but episode 1, you're Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is the man.
Kevin Lee
Kevin
was
Lee is the
trying,
man.
dude. Kevin Lee was trying to get him to tire out. I'm telling you, the Dominic
So,
Cruz strategy, the Dominic Cruz commentary, dude. He was just getting him to tire out, and then he accidentally fell asleep.
so as long as hey, all Robbie Lawler has to do is make it past the first minute of the first round, and then he'll be in good shape.
Dude, then he's gonna knock Nico Price out, and I'm gonna be in Valhalla with my money. I'm gonna be in another dimension. I'm gonna be on some horse tranquilizers with a Robbie Lawler fucking knocking Nico Price out. All right,
Here we go.
this should be the top prelim, bro. Robbie should be in this spot, and the top prelim should be Bo versus Val Woodburn. Both undefeated, and I think honestly the thing we got to look at here is Val Woodburn has no neck. And Bo Nickel is,
I saw him too. He is massive.
dude, he is a shit brick house. Brick shit house, whichever way you say it, dude. He's just a fucking, like, he should be the muscle hamster. I know we had the hamster earlier, but like
Yeah.
he should be the muscle hamster. I just think if you're betting any UFC fighter with 4 wins on their record at minus 3,000, you're on drugs. Like you're beyond on drugs. Like you're just, something's wrong. There's no reason you should not be sprinkling any UFC fighter. Okay. Okay. All right. If it's like Volkanovski versus some guy with 3 wins in the pro MMA or something like that, then minus 3,000 every time. If it's like John Jones versus fucking Alexander Romanov, minus 3,000. Fair enough. This is Bo Nickel, a guy that we haven't seen get wins on the big stage yet. We've seen him beat Jamie Pickett after kneeing him in the balls when he couldn't take him down. He
Yeah.
couldn't take him down in the UFC, and Jamie Pickett's not fucking good. Jamie Pickett is not good. He could not take him down, and he knees him in the balls. Jamie Pickett is like visually hurt, and then he takes him down. We saw him beat, I don't know, 2 cans on the Contender Series, 2 absolute cans. This guy he should not be minus 3,000 against anyone. So yeah, I'll take a little bit on Val Woodburn because the money line is literally plus 1,400 in some spots, plus 1,500 in some spots if you have the right book. I'll take a little bit of that just based on the fact that I don't think anyone, unless your name is one of the 10 GOATs of UFC, should be minus 3,000 against anyone with a decent record.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see it. I don't believe it at all. I think Val Woodburn doesn't have a neck. How are you going to choke out a man without a neck? It's like Gilbert Burns. You try to wrap your arm around it and you can't get your arm in there because he doesn't have a fucking neck.
Yeah, I'm first off, I'm curious to see if this kid can even make weight.
Yeah, he was 210.
He looks massive. Obviously, Bo's gonna have the height advantage, the reach advantage. But this kid is thick. This
It's gonna be
kid
hard to
is
take
real
down.
thick. We don't know that. We don't know how hard he's gonna be to take down yet. I mean, Bo is on a whole nother level.
He is wrestling
Right?
wise for sure.
So when they pull these kids in that we don't really have, we've never seen them in the big leagues. You know, he's fought in whatever the combat night. He's fought in that decision, a couple finishes, but nothing, no subs. So he's got no subs. So that tells me that the kid probably has 0 ground game.
Most likely.
And what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to try and knock out Bo Nickel. I think if you had to take a dart on this one, I'm definitely not betting Bo Nickel. I think he's going to win. I'm not going to bet him, but I would go Woodburn by KO. I mean, you can clip him. If Bo comes in trying to get that takedown, it wouldn't surprise me if he caught him with an uppercut or caught him trying to come in.
Is this the guy that trains with Chris Curtis? Was I wrong? I think this is the guy that trains with Chris Curtis. It is, because the other guy trains with Matt Brown. I had them mixed up.
Association Fusion XL.
Yeah, no, he has pictures on his Instagram with Chris Curtis. The other guy trains with Matt Brown, the Immortal.
Well, not for nothing. I mean, Chris Curtis isn't really tearing it up right now.
Exactly.
Strickland, obviously, we just saw Strickland fight, but Sean's got phenomenal takedown defense. You saw him just get takedown last week. He popped right back up. No
Chris
problem.
Curtis has good takedown defense too.
So I mean, we'll see. You put down a couple bucks on him to win by KO. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it's not a big thing. You can't be surprised. But
yeah, because I mean, here's the deal, man. Is like Bo Nickel, Val's not going to win on the ground. So if Woodburn is going to win this, it's going to be on the feet. And if it stays on the feet, he's going to have to get a finish because I don't think he's going to be able to keep it on the feet for 3 rounds. I mean, it's just a matter of time before a borderline Olympic wrestler with the craftiness of Bo Nickel is going to get you to the mat. And I feel like, you know, Val, if he's going to win, it's that KO, and it's plus 2,300. So, you know, $5-10 on that, you know, who cares? You lose $5-10, you don't go to McDonald's once next week because everyone goes to McDonald's 12 times in every fucking week. But okay, dude. Dan Hooker, Jalen Turner. Dan Hooker came out looking like a Karen mixed with Mark Hunt wannabe mixed with like a Skeletor. Like it's just a terrible look. Something's off with his brain after that Poirier fight.
I think.
Dude, look how many times he's gotten knocked out.
I know, and he's got those new leg tattoos, the gladiator shins.
Yep.
I don't know what he's doing. I think Jalen Turner is gonna shut the lights off.
I do too.
I think it's not even gonna be competitive. I mean, he lost. He obviously we saw him get knocked out by Chandler, and then Makachev, and then Arnold Allen. Granted, those guys, you know, Arnold Allen, uh, great fighter. Chandler's a great fighter. Makachev, obviously the champ, but Jalen Turner dropped him to Gamrot, and we all know how phenomenal he is.
And Turner borderline won that fight too. It was close.
Yeah, I don't see it working out. He's got the blonde hair, the bleach blonde hair. Maybe he's trying to go the Oliveira camp way and come out with the blonde hair and get the shit kicked out of him and then throw a Hail Mary and win. But I think they're giving Jalen Turner a name, and I think this is another one of those get right fights. I think Dan Hooker is at the end. Unfortunately, I think he's just going to
I
be
do
a name
too.
now, and that's going to be it. And look at the odds. The odds even show it.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
Dan
ever
Hooker,
since that, ever since that Michael Chandler fight, that was a big. Not even the Poirier fight. That was the
changed him.
huge thing where it completely turned. So
Dude, and here's the other thing too is Hooker's been just absolutely rambling about shit this fight week that is not his fight. Like he's been rambling about fucking Islam Makhachev. Why are you still talking about that? Like why are you still trying to talk crap on Islam when you have a really, really dangerous Jalen Turner? And Jalen Turner's the guy that I made a lot of money. Let's go look at his fights. I did not bet on him against Brad Riddell. I actually bet on Brad Riddell because I thought that was going to be where he finally got a hookup. But I bet on him against Callum Potter. I bet on him against Kulabau. I skipped the Frivola fight. I don't know why. I bet on him here, here, here. I did not Brad Riddell. And then I bet on Gamrot in that last fight, which I thought Jalen, that was a really close fight. Um, but yeah, dude, Hooker's been like a Facebook grandpa this week. He's got a haircut that looks like the John and Kate plus eight mom. He's got new shin tattoos and he relies on his length to beat everyone. Like how did he beat Puelles? Like he just like boxed him out at range and defended the takedowns. How did he beat Nasrat Hackbrass, who was never really that good in the first place? He just boxed him at range. And what's he not going to be able to do? Box Jalen Turner at range. Jalen Turner is 6 foot
yeah,
3 and the same reach as Dan Hooker. And Dan Hooker, all of his wins and even staying competitive with Poirier was based on his length. Like it was almost entirely based on his length and his ability to stay at distance. He doesn't have a good chin anymore. Arnold Allen knocked him out, and Arnold Allen really doesn't knock a lot of people out. Makhachev finished him
yeah,
submission, and then Chandler killed him. Like Chandler put his body like 3 feet. He's halfway to 6 feet down, dude. Like he's halfway there after that Chandler fight. And I think Turner is just gonna touch him, and Dan Hooker's chin is not gonna react well. I think it could be first round. Honestly, it could be first or second round. Um, Knockout for Jalen Turner, and I honestly feel pretty strongly about that. And Hooker probably comes on late. I mean, if he survives, say he gets touched up in the first round and survives, he probably has a chance to come on late and sneak at 29-28. But I think that's his only win condition, and I could never bet on someone who I think their win condition is take hard punches at the beginning and then squeak out a decision late. That's just not what I want to pick. I want to pick people who I think are going to be able to finish. And I think Jalen Turner can probably turn Dan Hooker's lights out.
yeah. I'm all over Turner on this one. This might be something where you can parlay, Jalen Turner by sub or knockout with Tatsuo with a sub win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like. I was looking at this earlier. I like Jalen Turner and Jimmy Crute parlayed.
Oh, there you go.
I like that parlay pretty heavily because Turner he's not crazy. I think he's. Let me go look at exactly what price he is. He's minus 285. So if you throw the minus 285 plus Jimmy Crute, which we both agree is a good bet as well, you end up with like plus 135. And that's not bad for two people that I think are going to be able to handle their opponent pretty easily. I'm trying to see if there's any others in there that you could throw on there. None of the rest of these I'm feeling as good on as those two.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got Robbie. We got Robbie. There might have to be a Robbie parlay put in place this week. I'm a big Whitaker fan. I think most people at least like Robert Whitaker. Like there's not much to dislike about the guy. He's pretty humble. He's funny. He's just a human. When some of these guys are playing roles, Robert is not playing a role. He's Bobby
Yeah.
Knuckles, and he's just whoever he is. Um, and my honest opinion on this fight is I don't like the line, but I think Robert Whitaker is better everywhere. Like I just think he is the better fighter, literally everywhere. I think he probably jabs off Dracus's face if it's on the feet, and I think if Robert gets a takedown, I think he can finish Dracus on the mat as well. I do think Dracus has like a puncher's chance. He's got a good kickboxing background, and he just has heart, which is something that I like. I'm actually kind of a fan of Dreykus. If I didn't love Robert as much, I'd probably be cheering for him here. But Dreykus is kind of like that guy that, no one invited to the party, but somehow he figured out where it was and ended up coming in through the back door. And you're like, what the fuck is he doing here? It's like he's a top 10 middleweight all of a sudden when he's getting the shit kicked out of him by, who was that? There's some Trevin Giles was like beating the fuck out of Dricus Duplessis, and then he fought Brad Tavares, and I thought that was a good showing. He fought
Yeah.
Darren Till and almost lost to Darren Till, who looks like he's a lunch lady at this day and age. And then Derek Brunson, if Derek Brunson just had more than one round of cardio, he would have finished him there. But is what it is. He's here, and he's dangerous on the feet. He actually has power on the feet. But I just think Robert's a class above pretty much everywhere.
I mean, this is a weird fight. Um, I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing it. To be honest with you. Um,
They want Bobby
and
to
you know,
lose.
is this it? I mean, is it a number one contenders match?
Not for Robert, but for Duplessis for sure. If
So why would he take this fight then if it's not a number one contenders match for him?
I don't know,
Does the winner of this get Sean Strickland?
that'd be a good fight. I'd watch Robert versus Strickland. That'd be pretty fun.
I think Whitaker is obviously better all around. I don't know why they're doing this fight. I don't think anybody's really that interested in this fight.
They want
Um,
Robert to lose. The UFC does. They want to do that whole big Africa thing with Izzy and
I,
Drakus.
but there's no way that card. When's the Australia card? End of August.
I'm not sure.
So there's no way they're going to turn around whoever wins this in that amount of time. If they do, it's going to have to be a quick finish for either one of the guys.
Yeah,
Where's Chimaev? That's what I want to know.
gone with the
I want
wind.
to know where Chimaev is, because to turn this fight around after whichever guy wins, it doesn't make sense.
I've been hearing that
And
Chimaev is out because he can't get a visa after hanging out with that dictator. That is, was it Czechoslovakian or Russian or something like Czech? I don't know what it is.
Chechnya.
Yeah, something like that. But he's hanging out with that dictator warlord, and I've heard he's getting denied a visa because of that.
Well, so is Justin Gaethje. So I don't know how true the passport thing is, you
Yeah.
know. But this fight, it doesn't make sense to me. If they want to see Duplessis fight Izzy, they should just make the fight and they should have given Robert Whitaker somebody else.
Dude, if we
He's
get
not going to win. He's not going to win. Bobby Knuckles is going to be too much. I can't even tell you his last loss was to Izzy, but who has he lost to since that? I mean,
it
if we
was
look up his,
before he was the champ.
yeah, one was, I
His
mean,
last loss before, let me get it in here. His last loss before Izzy was Wonderboy Thompson in 2014.
2014. Nobody's beaten him since then.
And he arguably won that second fight against Adesanya. That was a real close fight.
That was a close fight. So, and once again, he's fighting the best of the best. I'm not saying Derek Brunson. I don't know what the deal with that last fight was for Duplessis, but
I bet
that was
Brunson
just,
there.
yeah. I mean, and then, I mean, he beat Bobby Knuckles beat Marvin Vittori, who's a stud, Gastelum, stud, Cannonier, stud,
He's
Till, who at that time, that was 2020 Till, so that was 2.5 years ago.
better Till than nowadays for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're talking about Yoel Romero, um, twice, Ronaldo Sousa, and then Derek Brunson. Bobby got him out of there.
Yeah.
Knocked him out first round. So I don't see a path for Duplessis. So it's going to be Robert Whitaker, and I just got no interest in it. No interest on betting this, to be honest with you.
Same here, and I even think, I mean, looking at the line, I even think Whitaker could come out looking like value at minus 375. Like, I feel better about Whitaker than I do Bo Nickel, Jack Della. I feel better about Whitaker winning this fight than all of those guys. And I wish we got a better line on this. Like, I wish that people were not aware that Drake is a fucking terrible fighter. Like, but people are privy to it. They know that Whitaker is one of the best, and they know that Dreykus is probably a fraud, and we're gonna find out tomorrow. We're finding out tomorrow, and I think Whitaker could honestly, in hindsight, look like minus 800, minus 1,000. I think he's probably just gonna cruise without. He's either gonna finish him late, or he's just gonna cruise to an easy decision and not even look like he took any damage. If I had to put a bet on it. All right.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Co-main time. Kick us off, Tim. You taking the cannibal or are you taking the assassin baby?
I'm going Pantoja all day. All day, every day. This one is boggling to me how Pantoja is plus money. So they fought 3 times. He submitted Moreno, he knocked out Moreno, and he went to a decision with Moreno.
They only fought twice.
They were on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, and he submitted him on the Ultimate Fighter. I know that.
He submitted him, right? He's got the rear naked choke.
Yeah, and then he got the 26 to 30 decision.
But then if you look, when do they have that? They had a. Let me see here. They fought in Chuto, Brazil.
Really?
On a card. Yeah.
Let me Google
back
this.
in 2009, and he knocked him out. Yeah, so you got to go.
In what? What was it?
2009. It's Chuto, Brazil. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. That's my fault. That's Bruno Moreno.
Bruno Moreno. Damn, dude, imagine if we just discovered that they fought in Brazil.
Yeah.
No one else knew.
So obviously I got a little too excited on that one. But I still think it's it's the same thing. I don't know why he's plus money. If they fought twice, he's beat him twice. Why is he plus money?
Yeah, man, I'm 120 fucking percent in your corner here. Let's look at Pantoja's last few wins. He submitted Alex Perez like an actual cannibal. Like he jumped on his back from the beginning, and once he got on that back, it was over. Fight was over. He beat Brandon Royval, who was beating Brandon Moreno. And also, I wanna kind of dispute everyone's claims that Moreno beat Figueiredo 4 times or 3 times. Like that's so great. He hasn't had to adjust against a different type of fighter for years. He's fought the same guy 4 times. He got really used to fighting Figueiredo. We don't know how much better Brandon Moreno is than he was before that. He got his title shot off of a win over Brandon Royval where he was losing, and then Royval threw out his shoulder. Pantoja dismantled Brandon Royval, who just beat Nikolai, whatever his name is, Matthias Nicolau, who was a great prospect. Brandon Royval is on a streak, and Pantoja absolutely dismantled him. Manel Kape, however it's pronounced.
Yep.
That's a fucking killer. That's someone who the UFC wants to be champion, number one, and is going to continue to push and has been on a win streak recently. They're pushing him. Pantoja beat him up. When did he lost to Askar Askarov, who was a good fighter? Askar Askarov is a really, really good fighter. He got cut by the UFC.
Askarov's got to win over Moreno.
Exactly.
Because Askarov is I loved Askarov. Now he's fighting somewhere in Russia, but yeah.
And I mean, Pantoja gets his back,
here's my
man.
thing.
It's gonna be chalked. If Pantoja gets his back, I think it's fucking over. I just think that fight is over.
Here's the thing. He's beat Figgy multiple times. When have you ever seen Figueiredo recently get off the scale at 125 and be like, oh man, he looks fantastic?
Yeah, you don't.
It hasn't happened when he's fought Moreno.
Yep.
So you're fighting a sucked out Figueiredo. Granted, he just beat Kai with that liver kick.
And he was kind of getting beat up in that fight too. Like Moreno was not looking like a champion against Kai Kara-France. Like it was a very competitive fight up until he kicks him in the liver and Kai Kara-France goes down.
I'm all over Pantoja on this one, man.
I hammered it, dude. It's my biggest bet of the card is Pantoja. I got him plus 170, and right now it's plus 175. If we see like plus 180 or plus 190 before the fight, I mean, I'm gonna add more.
Yeah, I mean, so granted, he's been since he beat Moreno in 2018. He was on a good run, only losing to Figgy by decision in 2019 and Askarov by decision in 2020. Like you said, the way he dismantled Royval, and I think Royval is gonna be in running for a title shot soon.
He should be after that last win.
Yeah, I think he's one more fight away, and then he's gonna fight for the strap. I think Moreno is a great fighter, very nice person. I'm not a fan. I think there are levels to this, and I think Pantoja is on a whole nother level. I think he just has that mentality that's going to get him the win here. And I'm so surprised, after already beating him twice, that he is at plus odds.
Yeah. I mean,
and he beat Bruno Moreno too, just for good measure.
Yeah, bro, he's got 3 wins over B Morenos.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even talk about too the effect of knowing that a guy has beat you twice already had on Moreno. We saw it with Izzy, and Izzy looked good, but Izzy's kind of another level. He's a different fighter than Brandon Moreno. We don't know what it's gonna have, weighing on Moreno's head going into this, knowing that Pantoja, Like, he submitted you, he finished you, and then he got a 10-8 round and beat the shit out of you for the final 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Like, he dismantled him in that second fight. It was a 30-26. Like, that's a solid ass beating. And I feel like Pantoja's got the tools to finish him here if he wants to. I think Moreno might be able to have it down the stretch. Moreno might be able to get, the way that I see Moreno winning this would be winning rounds 3, 4, 5. I don't think he's winning the first round. I don't think he's probably not winning the second round, but he's going to require Pantoja to gas and Moreno to put him, on his back foot in those final 3 rounds. And like I said earlier, I don't like betting on fighters that I think their path to victory is some late round push to a close decision. I don't think that's good, and I don't think that's good at minus 200 either. I don't think Moreno can submit him. I don't think Moreno can knock him out. If Figgy didn't knock him out, I don't think Moreno is knocking out Pantoja. I think Pantoja is just the better fighter all around. He's beaten him twice. You don't have to overcomplicate this. He beat him twice. He's a great fighter on a great streak. Hammer the fucking underdog here, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this one. I'm really excited.
I'm excited for both these top 2 fights. I mean, this last one, man, is quite the banger. And I'm going to start this one off. I'm on Yair Rodriguez here. I got him at plus 340. I think that's much better than the line right now. I think the line right now on DraftKings is plus 285, something like that. And I think, here's my reasoning. I think, I do love Volk. I'll just start with that. But I think Volk can cover his price tag if he decides to turn into a Dagestani wrestler here. I think he could cover his minus whatever it is, 450, if he wrestles the entire fight. I don't think he can really get a finish over Yair on the ground. Ever since Yair took that trip to, no man's land where USADA couldn't find him, Yair has really good cardio. Imagine that. That's pretty crazy, right? Yair goes undetected for 2 years and then all of a sudden has great cardio. But I think Volk would have to wrestle here consistently to win and look like a minus 500 favorite. I think Volk can win a striking battle here, but I do think this lines up perfectly with the same narrative as Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, and that's exactly why I'm taking Rodriguez. It was the same boat as Leon Edwards, over plus 300. I took Leon Edwards in that first fight against Usman, and it played out kind of like I thought. I thought he was going to lose the minutes and knock him out. I thought he was going to do it earlier. I thought he was going to do it in like the second or third round. He was going to lose pretty much up until he knocked him out. And I think that's the same thing here. I think Volk probably wins time and looks like he's winning the fight. And I think Yair can catch him. We've seen Volk hurt. Volk has obviously great recovery. That's the thing he has, is great recovery. But Yair has great power and great finishing instinct. And that's what we've seen multiple times from Yair. And I think, the ages line up as well. We have, the young guy, Yair Rodriguez, who was also, Leon Edwards was young. Volkanovski pushing 35. Kamaru Usman was 35 when he lost. I think it kind of just lines up almost the exact same narrative. And also, I just think Yair Rodriguez, as much as people dislike the guy for his actions when he was younger, being kind of an absolute dickhead when he poked someone in the eye and stuff like that, and then acting like he was throwing a tantrum when Bisping was talking to him. Like, I hated that.
Yeah.
I think the guy's got the power to knock Volk out if he lands one thing, and I think Volk could be on wobbly legs. And so, yeah, I took him plus 340, and I'm pretty excited to see this fight. I think this might be my favorite fight in a while.
Yair only needs 1 second to win this fight.
Exactly, man. He just needs one.
We saw him. He was going to lose a fight, and he won it with 1 second left in the final round. The only thing that gives me pause is Ortega couldn't submit Volk because Volk trains with Craig Jones. I think Craig Jones is one of the best. Um, but we also saw, and I know it wasn't technically, we saw Yair submit Ortega. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't considered a submission,
It was a
but
joint manipulation for sure.
yeah. So what Yair did to Brian Ortega was due to the submission attempt that he put him
Yeah.
into the grappling. But also, I think Yair is all over the place. He's not like Max Holloway, where he's gonna have that orthodox boxing and Volk can deal with it. He's not gonna have that Dagestani Sambo that he could deal with it. You know who when you're fighting these guys, what they're gonna do. You know, Ortega's gonna go for the grappling. That's gonna be his way to win against Volk. Max is gonna go for the stand up. That's his way to win against Volk. You know, Makachev grappling, get him down and wrestle him, hold him down there. That's his way to win. Yair, he can go anywhere, and it's extremely unorthodox. I love the odds on this. You know, I'll take plus money on Yair all day long. I don't know what Volk's mentality is, especially after moving up, saying that he wants to stay up there and get, you know, the strap up there, losing at 155, and now he's cutting back down to 145. Is he gonna stay here? Nobody knows. But then he wants to eventually go back up to 155. Once you start bouncing around, I don't know how beneficial that's going to be.
Yeah.
And does he still want it at 145? Does he really care? I know of course the logical answer is yes, he does care. But he's been so dominant at 145. I think his focus is already going on to I need to get back up to 155 and I need to get that shot again. If he loses here, if he loses, it's I don't see him trying to get the rematch. I see him automatically going up to 155.
I agree. I think
If
that'll be the
if
last
he
we see him at
if
45.
he wins here, I see him trying to go up to 155 again. So it's also Volk, man.
Yeah, he's borderline all
It's
time great.
also he doesn't stop. And I mean, think about it. 3 fights ago, he fought Max. I thought that wasn't the same Max. He dismantled Max,
Yeah.
right? But the prior two, you know, it could have gone either way. And then he fought Korean Zombie, who he just absolutely demolished. But I don't think that Korean Zombie is the same. So I don't know. I'm gonna go. Yeah, you're with you here. I think he's got more ways to win, and I think he's gonna give Volk a completely different look, where it's just not one style that you have to prepare for. You got to be prepared on the ground and on the feet. Where, like I said before, you know, as much of a amazing fighter Ortega's known for his grappling. That's where you got to really, really watch out. Um, so I'm going Yair here, man. I think he's got more ways to win. That's why I'm going with him.
I agree. I don't think Volk. I mean, he could obviously knock out Rodriguez, Yair, but I feel like Yair is much more alive to knock out Volk. And I feel like this is going to be one of those bets where hindsight, um, it's gonna feel like damn, we either really nailed it or we really fucking biffed it. Like Volk is either gonna crush him or I think Yair's gonna knock him out. And it's like you said, Yair just needs 1 minute. Volk needs to be safe for a little bit longer. So I'll take my shot on the dog. Um, and my three big bets are Robbie Lawler, Pantoja, and Yair. And I just need one to hit for it to be a even or profitable night. If Pantoja hits, it'll be even. The other two hit, it'll be profitable because they're higher odds. But I'm liking Yair here, man. I think I might throw in a little parlay of all my dogs, those three dogs, and if we get lucky, if we get touched upon by the MMA gods, the payout on that will be will be something slight, man. Let me just look at that quick. We can just see exactly what it would be. Yair, Pantoja, and Robbie Lawler. Yeah, plus 3,000 on that. And Robbie's plus 180 now. That line is kind of closing since I bet it.
Well, Robbie.
It's because Robbie's
I
about
feel
to
bad
send
for
him.
Robbie, man. I feel so bad for Robbie. I don't think you fully grasp. I don't think he knows what you said about Kevin Lee. That's what scares me.
Yo, that was uncalled for right there, Tim. That was
That's
uncalled
what
for.
scares me. So now I don't know if we should maybe reach out to Robbie's team and kind of give him the heads up, and maybe
Let him know that I put a little bit of cheddar on their boy.
uh, well, we'll see. As much as I want these guys when we know it's their last fight, we know they're retiring. I want them to go out on a high note. Unfortunately, this isn't the sport where you go out on a high note. You have your anomalies. You have your Habib and Amanda, where you have these guys, but you don't have. It's not
They're not
at this
41.
age.
I
At
get I
this
get what you're saying.
age,
Yeah,
they're not going out, getting their hand raised. They're going out face down, ass up, and that's it.
they are.
So it's sad, but I don't. Do I think he should even be fighting? No, but that's where we're at. Unfortunately, this is what he loves. It's trying to tell somebody to stop doing what you love is terrible. But at some point, your body just can't do it. So we'll see what happens. But I really hope Robbie can get a win. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get some good action on the live betting it.
Dude, this card is just full of bangers too. I mean, banger, banger. Nah, probably not a banger. Probably a little bit of a banger. Hopefully a banger. Banger, banger. Not a banger. Banger. I mean, there's just a lot of good fights here. Um, so yeah, if you guys are watching this and you're still somehow here, we appreciate you. But we'll be back every single week with another Fight Chronicles. Tim, it was great.
Absolutely, and then we're gonna do a little recap too. This episode was a little technical difficulties, but we'll recap this card as well next time, and then look ahead to the fight night following, and we'll go from there and just keep grinding.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.